Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. If you like my vibe, go ahead and touch subscribe. No, seriously though, the more interaction I get on this channel, the more YouTube pushes my videos. So let's get into it. I'm starting with 4 chicken backs, 1 bunch of fresh tarragon, and 1 bunch of fresh thyme. I want to make my broth. I have to season it quite heavily. That was seasoned salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, probably put a little more onion powder, and no salt, Tony Cacheres Creole seasoning. Now I let that simmer for an hour and a half. Removed the chicken backs. I went ahead and made 2, and I strained it and set it aside. Next, I'm starting with half a stick of butter and approximately 1/3 of a cup of flour, and you're going to mix that into with your butter. You're going to make a roux. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little more oil to that. Stir it really well to incorporate all the fat. That's a piece of tarragon in there. I didn't know what that was. So you want to break the flour down like that into the fat. And then next I'm going to start adding my chicken stock. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to add a good splash of white wine. And let's mix that in. Now I'm going to start adding my chicken stock, a little bit at a time. And stir, and this is how you get a nice smooth gravy. Now some people add milk or cream at this point. I chose not to, but you can if you want. It will make it a little creamy, but to me gravy's nice and creamy anyway. And see, stir that in, making sure you scrape around the sides of your skillet, and just keep adding your broth. Keep your flame on medium low. This is a really good method. And simmer it, and as you can see, it thickened up. Next, I'm going to season it. I tasted it. Taste it at this point, and if you need to add more seasoning, keep in mind that the seasoning is going to act as more flour. So it's going to thicken the gravy again. Same seasonings went into it. So after I stirred those in, let it simmer. I added a little more broth. You want to make sure you have enough gravy so that your pot pie won't dry out when it's baking. Now I'm going to add the breast from the chicken carcass. That was my chicken left over from Thanksgiving that I used to make the broth for the dressing. I saved the breast and froze it. 1 small bag of mixed veggies. And I found a few potatoes in the fridge. Now at this point you don't want to agitate the chicken too much because you don't want to break the chunks down, so just kind of barely move it around. But I found 6 or 7 miniature golden russet potatoes, and I cut those into cubes and threw those in. I did boil them a little for about 5 minutes so that the starch from them won't thicken the gravy too much. And you don't want your gravy too thick at this point. So you can add a little more broth. You want it kind of loose, not too thick. Because when it bakes in the oven, add a little sploosh more of white wine. Stir that in. But because when you bake it in the oven, some of the liquid is going to evaporate in the oven. And then you don't want it to set too much. Now, I sprayed a 9x13 pan with Pam so that when I scoop my pot pie out, it comes out clean. Scoop it out to eat it. That is a gluten-free pre-made pie crust there. So I've never worked with it before. It's kind of crumbly and not as pliable as the regular pre-made pie crust, but that's okay because it doesn't have to be perfect. Just dump those out unless you choose to make your own pie crust, which I never do, because break it off where it overlaps and then fill in, you know, I got all the pieces out from underneath, and then fill in any areas that you see it may be exposed. And just move them around. Again, it does not have to be perfect. Spraying that Pam in there, the filling's going to come out clean. Next, we're going to scoop the filling into the dish. Like I said, you do not have to use gluten-free products. I try to minimize gluten-free products. I try to minimize gluten products with gluten. I'll go ahead and pour the rest of that in there. And I'm going to take the bottom of my little measuring cup there and gently press down on it to spread it out evenly. And then next I'm going to take my puff pastry. Now, you can pre-cut those, each sheet, into 6 pieces. I cut it afterwards, and there you go. I baked it on 400 until that puff pastry was nice and light and brown. And that is also gluten-free, which you don't have to use gluten-free. I sprayed it with Pam, or you can wash it with egg wash. I cut it into 6 pieces. It took approximately 50 minutes at 400. And here I'm going to do a little taste test. And I don't know if you can see over there in the corner, spraying the pan with nonstick spray comes out clean of the bottom of the pan. And that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't want my pot pie to stick to the pan. And there you go, people. Look at those veggies, and the gravy is just right. Not too thick, not too thin. It continued to set as the pie cool. Remember, share, comment, like, and subscribe. It's free. Let me know if you tried this recipe. It's a winner.